Welcome to Sine Law video. In this video, you're going to learn how to find the missing side and angle using Sine Law. The slides are created by whiteboards.com. First, we're going to go over the past lesson, which is cosine rule, and when do you use cosine rule. To go back, remember that you use the cosine rule when you are given two sides and the included angle. Included angle means that the angle is between the two sides given. If you take a look at this diagram, you have two sides, and then the angle is in the middle of these two sides. You may also use the cosine rule to find the missing angle when you're given the three sides of the triangle. Again, you use cosine rule when your triangle is not a right triangle. Okay. So when do you use the sine rule? You use the sine rule to find an unknown side when you are given two angles and a side. Okay. That will be this diagram over here. You're given two angles and a side. Okay. You may also use sine rule to find the unknown angle when you're given two sides and an angle that is not included. Okay, so for example, in here, in this diagram, you have two sides, and then the angle given to you is not the one in the middle or between these two given sides, which is the opposite of cosine rule. Okay, let's talk about the derivation of sine rule. Given a triangle that is not a right triangle, okay, this triangle should be labeled as. Okay, remember this is important because if you do not label your triangle this way, then you will be solving the problem in the wrong way and you will get the wrong result. Okay, if this is your angle A, its opposite should be its corresponding angle and you label it as side A. This angle is B, so its corresponding side, its opposite side is side B. This is angle C, and its opposite is its corresponding side, and it should be labeled as C. Okay, to continue with the derivation of the sine rule, we're going to draw a line from C going down perpendicular to line segment AB. Okay, so that line is here, perpendicular, so you see this 90 degrees here. Using your SOHCAHTOA, because now we have a right triangle, using SOHCAHTOA, let's find CP using this, looking at this smaller triangle. So our reference angle will be angle B. So sine B, that will be, if we're using sine, that should be the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. So that will be CP divided by A being your hypotenuse. Okay, rewrite it, reorganize it so that it's CP equals to A sine B. So we use cross multiplication in here. Okay, next, let's see how we find CP using the bigger triangle. Okay, now we're going to use angle A as our reference so that sine A should be the opposite side, okay, divided by the hypotenuse. So it's going to be sine angle A is equal to CP divided by B. Rewriting it, CP is equal to B times sine A. Now we know that we're using the same side so that it will be equal, so we can combine both these equations and then write it as A times sine B is equal to B sine A. Keep reorganizing it or rewriting it, okay, so that you will have A sine B or A times B divided by sine A equals B. Okay, we are just rewriting it using cross multiplication. So you will have A over sine A equals B sine B. Okay, to extend it, you may write it as to include C, A divided by sine A is equal to B divided by sine B is equal to C divided by sine C. This is also equivalent if you have all the angles, the sine of the angles as numerator and the sides as denominator. You just have to be consistent. Okay, so this equation is the same or equivalent to this equation. Let's have some few examples. Let's find the missing side or the unknown side when you're given two angles and a side. Okay, so you have the formula here on top to guide you. Here are the example. Okay, now given two angles and a side and you're looking for side A. Remember when I told you before that it should be the corresponding angle. So if this is side A, its corresponding angle is its opposite. That means 45 degrees is angle A. Okay, following the given formula, you can write A, this is angle A, so sine 45. If you label this as side B, then that means its opposite, this is going to be angle B. If you label this as C, side C, then this will be side or angle C. Okay, so you put 5.1 divided by its corresponding angle, sine 60 degrees. Using cross multiplication, then you go A is equal to 5.1 times sine of 45 degrees divided by sine 60 degrees. Putting your answers or simplifying your answer into one decimal place should get 4.2 or 4 and 2/10 centimeter. Remember to always write the unit. Okay, don't leave it out. Now, stop the video, solve the other two problems on your own and see if you can do it. If not, play it again and look at problem number 2, okay, to help you out. So here's number 2. The answer for number 2 should be 11.4 centimeters. Okay, now do the third one. The solution should be this, and the final result is 99.7 meters in one decimal place. I hope you have the correct answers. Okay, the next one is a word problem, application problem. Okay, you still have your formula up here. You have the angle of elevation of the top of the building measured from point A is 25 degrees. So I have here the building and point A. So the angle of elevation, you have the reference point here, and when it says elevation, it's the angle going up. So we'll have 25 degrees. And then you have another point, which is point D, which is 15 meters closer. So we have point D here. And the angle of elevation is 35 degrees. Let's have that 35 degrees. And then let's put the 15 meters. It says it should be closer by 15 meters. So that means from point A to point D is 15 meters. Okay, now we already have two angles, but we need the angle here inside, not the outside. Okay, what we're trying to solve is the height of the building, and the height of the building is from here to here. Okay, this is a right triangle. Would have been easy, and you can just use SOHCAHTOA if you have enough information, but you don't. So we will have to solve this side, and to be able to get that, we need to use this other triangle outside because it has more information and more details than this right triangle. Okay, to complete the information for this triangle, which is not a right triangle, we need this 35 degrees to get the angle here inside, interior angle of this smaller triangle. We know that from here to here is a straight angle, so it should equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so to find the interior angle for this triangle, for triangle TDA, we're going to subtract angle TDA, 180 minus 35, that's 145 degrees. That means the angle where this man is standing is 145 degrees. Okay, after getting the angle here, you now have enough information to use the sine rule. You have two angles and a side. Okay, so that's your angle. Now, to get angle TD, DTA, this angle, you know that the sum of interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180. So you can subtract 180 minus 170 is equal to 10 degrees. Where did you get 170? You add 145 degrees to 25 degrees. Okay. So now you have 3. You can now solve using sine rule. Here's the solution. You get 36.5 meters, okay, to get side TD. Okay, so now when you move on to this triangle inside, you can now use the SOHCAHTOA. So sine 35, okay, TB. So then TB is 20.9 meters. Okay, to keep going, let's move on to finding the angle. Now, here's an example. Okay, first one, using the sine rule, just plug in the values that you have to the formula and you will get the answer. Stop the video and then do the rest of the problem. See if you will get the correct answers. Okay. Here are the solutions for number 2 and number 3. I hope you computed them all correct. Okay. For number 2, should be 83.0 degrees. 1 decimal place, so it's rounded. Okay. For number 3, the answer should be 15 degrees and 15 degrees in 1 decimal place. I'm not sure if you can see everything in the video. Okay, but for number 3, it's 15 degrees. Now, let's have an application. Okay. Read the problem and stop the video and see if you can draw the diagram. Okay, here's the diagram. Okay, find the height of the statue. And here's your solution. I hope this is making sense. If it's not, okay, let's talk about this in the classroom. Or you can talk to your group mates, the ones who are also taking the extended math. Okay. Now, why 110? Remember, this is a right triangle and the sum of the triangle is 180. So that's where you got 110. Okay. Your 110, this is a straight angle. Okay. These are 25, so you already have 20, so this will be 5 degrees. So I hope everything is making sense. You have one side in your smaller triangle, which is 53.2. Okay. So the final answer and the height of the statue should be 5.1 meters in 1 decimal place.